Congressman Mike Rulli, representing Ohio 6th, is joining me now. Congressman, it's great to have you on.
Hey, it's good to be on, Scott. How are you doing today?
Good. Any Halloween plans for tonight?
Well, my daughter and her boyfriend are going to a Halloween party, so I'm going to head home and take some pictures with the family, and then probably head back to the stores and check on them because I've been campaigning all day.
Yeah, how much candy does your store go through in Youngstown?
Well, I bet you, I don't know, probably a couple pallets. You know, there's usually about 45 cases on a pallet. I bet you probably 3 or 4 pallets. We had a good special where you get those variety packs of the Hershey, the Hershey cups and all that. We were selling them 2 for $5, so that was moving pretty strong for us.
You know, last time you were on, we talked a lot about inflation and Kamala Harris's plan for price control and what that would do to grocery prices. One of the things that we've talked about is that Halloween candy is, I think I've said numbers like 20 to 30% higher this year. Chocolate in particular costs more. We're seeing it affect everything in our life. I'm going to put a vending machine out in front of my door instead of handing out free candy.
Well, I was just on Neil Cavuto's show yesterday talking about this very issue. I thought she was going to give this up, and she pivoted right back into that. If you're keeping track of what she's saying, she's blaming the industry instead of blaming herself. We have a beautiful mayor we could give her. The problem is 100% her. When you print $6 trillion, when you shut down our energy, you get inflation. It's not a rocket science. Any Joe Bag of Donuts can figure out the formula she created. She owns this. And we got to make sure she does not see that Oval Office.
For people not familiar with Mike Rulli, he's a multi-generational. His family is multi-generational in a grocery store chain in the Youngstown area. And what a lot of people don't realize is that your profit margins are next to nothing in a grocery store. You're making money, but you're not making bank. It's not you raising the prices on us on eggs and milk.
Well, you got to figure, for those of us that know business, we're about 27% gross, which means once you pay for the product that you bought, there's 27% left over. But for about 3 or 4 years, I was 1.7 net. I'm down to 1.2 net. And that means when you pay for everything, you have 1.2, which is $1.20 for every $100 you sell. That's net profit. And net profit is responsible when you buy those new registers. Every register is about $19,000 per lane. You need a new floor jack, a new electric jack. Those are $8,000. You need a new slicer in your deli. Those are $23,000. That's what comes from your net. And one of the problems is my dad ran our company at about 10 to 11% payroll for 40 years. We're almost approaching 19% payroll. There's nothing I can do about it. I'm a full-service grocery store. We got the 3 stores. I got about 214 employees. If I don't pay at least $15 and up, I got guys making $20, $30 an hour. If you don't pay that, they'll just walk. You won't have any employees and you'll be done.
Yeah, and she's going after the wrong people. And once price controls are in effect, it makes it that much harder for us to get groceries. And it takes away all of the incentives for innovation and new products as well.
And it's anti-American. We've never done that. I think Nixon tried it once and he failed miserably.
Congressman Mike Rulli from Ohio's 6th here on the Scott Sands Show. You've been in D.C. for a few months now as Congressman. More tricks or more treats being handed out there?
Well, lots of tricks. I'm very fortunate. I think someone in your neck of the woods, Chairman Jim Jordan, who's a good friend of mine, he put me on Judiciary, and I'm so honored to be on it. We've been doing a lot of hard work in Judiciary, trying to figure out all the shenanigans that the opposition party has done. And I'm also on Workforce and Education and Workforce with Dr. Virginia Fox. Her claim to fame is she got the president of Columbia University to resign in shame, like she should, with her DEI insanity. So, we're fighting the good fight. It's one step at a time. We really need to stay in the majority. Scott, can I ask you, is Derek Marin a player up there? Is that in your neck of the woods, or is that farther south than you?
Derek Marin is here in Ohio's 9th, running against 42-year incumbent Marcy Kaptur. I think... Derek, I think has, and he'll be on with me tomorrow with Congressman Tom Emmer. Looking forward to having them in here. I think Derek's making some inroads. People are tired of career politicians like Marcy Kaptur, like Sherrod Brown, who have been in office for way too long with nothing, in Marcy Kaptur's case especially, really to show for it. I think Derek's been fighting a problem of name recognition and the fact that Marcy shows up with the big plastic checks every once in a while, and she's generally, I think people are apathetic towards her. But after 42 years in office, we're hoping to see a change here and maybe get her a forced retirement.
Well, you have to look at where they vote for. I'm sure she votes with Kamala Harris and Joe Biden 100% of the time. You have to look. Did they look to impeach, President Trump? We really, really could use that seat. That seat is the most viable in Ohio for us to win. Here's a little insider baseball. Tom Emmer is a good friend of mine. I absolutely love the guy. Also, with Tom Emmer comes Steve Scalise. Hey, let's talk about this for a second. They shot Steve Scalise on the baseball field. Their rhetoric right now, they have President Trump's blood on their rhetoric. Right now, Kamala turned into the whole Nazi Hitler type of thing because, and you know that's a desperate means. Come on, Scott. If you're going the Nazi and Hitler, you're desperate. So we know they have blood on their hands. We know that Steve Scalise took a bullet. And Steve Scalise and myself and Tom Emmer have been traveling through Pennsylvania, North Carolina with Dr. Scott. We're trying to get these seats. If we win one more seat, folks, I got to tell you this. This is big. If we win Derek Marin's seat, we will become the third most powerful delegation in the country. Number one Republican delegation is Texas. Number two is Florida. And I got some good friends down there. Brian Mass has become a very dear friend of mine. The guy's incredible. Massive veteran, war hero. But if we get Derek's seat, we're number three. Now, you want to talk about a beautiful set of power that we could show the whole world that we're the new Texas, we're the new Florida, we're red, baby. We're not going back to blue. We're right where we need to be. We're going to help save America.
Steve Scalise is actually with Derek Marin today here in town, and I'm hoping to hear from Congressman Scalise at some point this afternoon. Keeping a busy schedule, which is great to see because you're right. It's very important to maintain that majority in the House. I think that chances look pretty good for Republicans to take control of the Senate. I'm not sure if Bernie's going to be able to beat Sherrod Brown, but it's certainly tightened up lately. But having
I was with Bernie
congressional
last
control
night. Bernie
is
last
big.
night we brought in Tim Scott of South Carolina and Youngstown, Ohio for Bernie, and Bernie's whole staff was there. They, supposedly 2 weeks ago we were 3 points up. We're 1 point up now. It's neck and neck. I mean, of course, I want to be reelected, but more than ever, I need Bernie to win, and I need Derek Marin to win. Scott, that'd be Christmas early. I got to be honest with you.
We're talking to Congressman Mike Rulli. He is representing Ohio's 6th, running for re-election. Obviously, Michael Rulli, RULLI.com. If you want to find out more about his campaign, volunteer, contribute as well in the next few days. What are the people in the 6th telling you they're voting on? What are the important issues that you're hearing?
Well, I spent all day yesterday in Tuscarawas. I was in Noble a couple of days before that. And then this morning I was all over Mahoney County. It's one word. And if this stays true, I think we're going to win. It's inflation. We have all the fancy stuff. They want to talk about their subjects and we have our subjects, but it's basically meat and potatoes. It's Ronald Reagan all over again. Are you better off than you were 4 years ago? I would love for someone, when I get done with this with you, Scott, for one of your listeners that could prove to you how much better they are than 4 years ago, because I can't find one person in Ohio 6.
Well, the only people who are better off today than they were 4 years ago, as we were just talking about with a former Border Patrol agent, are the illegal immigrants in our country.
Oh, boy.
I know how to segue topics, don't I?
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. You want to get the border? You want to talk some border talk? It's one of my favorite subjects.
Hit me.
So, let's go back to remain in Mexico. Let's go back to building the wall. Let's go back to mass deportation. All of us had ancestors. I had 3 grandparents born in Italy. One of them was born in Budapest. They all assimilated. If you guys are interested, Michael Savage said it best. Borders, language, culture. You have to come here legal. You have to assimilate. We don't care. We're a melting pot of beauty. And the Republican Party, and my opposition hates this. I've been saying it for 8 years. We are the party of love. How many people, Scott, in your life have you quit being friends with because they're in the opposition, because they're a Democrat?
None.
Let me answer.
Zero. Most of the people I date wind up having far different political views than me.
That's right. Now, I lived in Boston in college, and I was in a band up there. I probably had 150 friends. All but one want me dead just because I'm a Republican.
That's sad. I mean, that's sad. You can disagree, but politics should not be that divisive. And really, it's the Democrats that are continuing to use that as a wedge to divide us as a people on issues that we're deeply concerned about.
That's right. We got a good friend, Riley Moore. He's running for the House down in West Virginia. He's going to be a great member for us. He's going to be an energy guy. And I was just hanging out, and we had a hater come up, and I said, come on, man, let's hug it out. He goes, yeah, I don't want to hug you. You people don't hug. I said, we're all about love. Let's hug it out. And the guy just freaked out. He didn't know what to do. I was like, come on, guy. This is life. You got to take it easy a little bit.
Have a little fun.
I do get worried about the rhetoric, though. I think it's dangerous.
I would agree. And I'm fighting hard. I'm cheering for your reelection. We need to get Derek Merrin here on the 9th, Kevin Coughlin in the 13th, really change the shape of Ohio in the future and retain control, the majority in the House as well.
Hey, any rumors on what Vivek's going to do? Is Vivek going to be is he going to be a cabinet member? Will he maybe get that Senate appointment? There's rumors he might want to run for governor. I don't know if you're a Vivek fan. I mean, I've been pretty close with J.D. Vance. I have a couple of his guys on my staff, and J.D., when I was president of the William McKinley Presidential Library, he was one of my first speakers when his book came out. He would be the greatest vice president. There's never been a vice president from Ohio ever. I don't know if you guys know that. We're tied with Virginia for the most presidents. We've never had a vice president. And also, here's some other fun facts. We've never had a Marine veteran become vice president. And not only that, think about it. When people argue with you about Ukraine funding, the United States Marine Corps only operates on $54 billion a year, but yet we gave $250 billion to Ukraine. So I think J.D. Vance is an amazing guy. I like to think that I'm a decent speaker. J.D. Vance puts me to shame, and Vivek's even better. So curious in your thoughts of Vivek.
So J.D. Vance has been quite impressive since being named as the running mate. I certainly give you that. I am cheering for J.D., who stopped returning my phone calls. So I know he's a little busy. I know he's a little busy, but maybe we'll get him on before Tuesday or after he and Donald Trump win. Here's the deal with Vivek, and I like Vivek a lot. He's been on my show a number of times. I don't think, assuming Trump and Vance win, I don't think Mike DeWine would appoint Vivek to that Senate seat. Mike DeWine's just not a Vivek guy. And I don't know if Vivek would even want that. I think he would be named to a cabinet position under Donald Trump if he wanted that. But he might run for Senate. He might run for the governorship. But I think Mike DeWine would appoint somebody like a Matt Dolan or a Frank LaRose or a Dave Yost to help clear the way in the governor's race for John Husted. That's how I see that chess game playing out. And I don't think Mike DeWine likes Vivek and that side of the Republican Party.
The only thing that you have to keep in mind, it's only a 2-year appointment. So we're going to need someone that Governor DeWine likes and someone that Trump likes, because Donald Trump will have to give them their endorsement in 2 years so they can have it, because you're only going to fulfill JD's last 2 years, and then you're going to have a brand new election in 2 years. So we got to figure that out. Maybe if anyone in DeWine's administration or the Trump administration call each other and try to figure that out, guys.
Yeah, I think I've got DeWine on Wednesday, so I can ask him that very question. We'll see if he defers or not. Hey, Congressman, I'm so proud of you. I'm cheering for you, and good luck Tuesday. We'll talk right after that.
I appreciate you. God bless you, brother.
Mike Rulli, Ohio's 6th, michaelrulli.com, RULLI.